question. We figured out how to get Mike to behave.
Yes.
We bring in Father to sit next to him.
Yes.
Because we're discussing something remarkable that just happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm. So over here, and I have a Catholic priest over here. Now, the person we're going to talk about here, he was called God's influencer, just 15 years old. And by all accounts, Carlo Acutis has lived up to his name.
A teenager has become a saint at just the age of 15 he was when he died. He was canonized by Pope Leo yesterday, the first millennial saint. Everyone talks about the first saint that we've had wearing blue jeans and on the internet. It takes two miracles in order to become canonized. I think he's responsible for many more have been attributed to him. So the specific ones in his case were one from Brazil and the other in Italy. So what we're calling him now is the patron saint of the internet. He died from leukemia in 2006.
So what does this all mean? Here to tell us about it is one of our friends, Father Daniel Joyce, Vice President of Mission and Ministry over at St. Joe's University. Yeah. Father, good to see you.
Good to be with you guys. Yeah, always a good day to be at Good Day Philadelphia.
Oh, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Tell us more about Carlo.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he's become a real inspiration over these last years, especially for young people, especially for teenagers, because he's, you live in a world where young people have to negotiate instantly on social media. You have 1,000 connections, and yet you're still feeling isolated, or you're still challenged by what you're encountering. And I think he's become this great model on how to negotiate that world and how to live in it founding yourself in a solid way and being grounded and living healthy and well-being while you deal with complicated world, while you're growing up, while you're dealing with all the things of growing up. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And he became popular because he created a website.
He did. He created this website marking all these other miracles, kind of talking about how there's a presence of God that'll accompany you wherever you are. And I think that really resonated with a lot of young people. And I can see it here in many of our schools. The young kids, especially in the high schools, have really identified with it.
Are you really seeing that? Are young people coming back to the church?
Yeah, well, or they're already involved, but they're finding in him a real concrete example of how to live through the teen years, or being a millennial, you know, having him as an example allows them to say, yeah, this is, and so I think it's a real refreshing kind of update for them of how the faith can be lived out. Yeah.
And there was 800,000 people that were there for this canonization yesterday. It was him in another state. Man that became a saint as well. But I thought what's interesting is we actually had a live stream here. We have a connection in our area. This is the other saint that was also canonized yesterday.
Giorgio Frasetti.
Yeah, that was 100 years ago.
And he died as a 24-year-old, though, who really, similar to Carlo, he took his life and put it into action and lived his faith in a really bold way and died young. So he's another example of a young person integrating all that for their life.
And Carla's mom, still alive, and so she was there for that. She has come to our area. I think she was up at the shrine, the Polish shrine up in Bucks County, but also out at the Malvern Retreat House. We have a shrine where people can go. Right.
There's a sort of a memorial to him, and people can go and just sort of pray. And like he did, he was very common to go as a young kid going into church just to feel, again, get himself grounded, tune into. He was very good by the time he got to high school, at taking his sport, his spirituality, and his service and integrating it together and living a happy and full life. But he did that in a way that I think many young kids will find inspiring and a good model for them. I know at St. Joe's Prep, he went to a Jesuit high school in Milan. Carlo did. St. Joe's Prep is a Jesuit high school. I know there's a number of students there who find him a real inspiration. And certainly our students at St. Joe's University, even the college students, see just him as somebody from their experience who's making it work for them.
You're really influenced by him.
Yeah, sure. As a good model of somebody who can just keep it integrated, keep it real, and understand how God's accompanying them, especially through difficult and challenging times. Because it's a complicated world these kids live in. It
really is. Everything's changed ever since the internet was invented, but especially social media. Trying to navigate that.
And I think there's, for a movement of a return to Catholicism or conservatives, and in some of the young people looking for faith, looking for guidance, looking for that, and I think this makes it really relatable. There was a live stream at that shrine we just showed out there at Malvern Retreat, which I think is also interesting, where people would go to see, as this canonization happened.
Exactly. No, I think he has an interesting mix of sort of traditional prayer and piety mixed with also dealing with the modern world and the challenges of it and how to respond to it as it comes at you. You know what I mean? And I think that's the kind of thing we're all struggling to do. do. We all want to be aware and live a deeper and happier life. And I think he's a good example of that, tapping into God's strength and grace for him.
And what's also fascinating is that the shrine in Italy, where he is, you can go see him in a glass casket.
That's right, right.
And it's fascinating. They put, I think it's a latex mask, so you can see his face when you look at it. I don't know if we have a good angle on it, but it's fascinating.
Where is that?
In Assisi,
Assisi?
Italy, where
Oh,
his
yeah.
body is, yeah. His family had lived in Assisi for a little while, so he became very connected to that community. I also think, too, that there's a way in which, no matter how many years we go forward, teenagers are really going to identify with him. Certainly millennials
Yes.
for his experience, but when you look at him there in Assisi, you say, okay, this is somebody who knows my experience. This is somebody who's like me, and lets me learn more about how he was able to live a balanced and beautiful and really spiritual and a life of service in many ways.
And brilliant at
Brilliant.
the same time.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's beautiful stuff.
Father,
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
Good to be
As
with
always,
you always.
good to see
Take
you. I'll
care.
reach across
Very
my
nice.
shoulders.
All right.
Good to see you.
Take care.
We're coming right back.